All right. Peace and blessings, brothers and sisters. Once again, it's the Cosmocentric Mystic coming at you today with an update report on the Stargate project. Remember, I'm coming at you in bits and pieces. This project doesn't have an end, not until I go through enough of their documents to say, well, that's enough. But so far, it's pretty dope. What I'm showing you here is the manual that this man Jim Chayman from 1979 wrote. So I want you to keep in mind. That this is an Army manual. This is a manual for the Army, a way in which the United States are a section of the government that the United States uses to wage war on other countries. So this is called the 1st Earth Battalion. Dare to think the unthinkable. Ideas for soldiers everywhere. Everywhere. Check it out. All right, so this is kind of the layout and their concept, where, how they will address what they see as the problem of the military, and the different ways in which they'll go about, are the different aspects that they're going to go about and change things. And so there's the understanding that they have to influence people, the process of control, the dynamics of change, the nature of interdependence, the science of systems, and the dynamics of force readiness. So these are the topics that this document is going to cover. So this was the foreword. Let's just listen to and hear the foreword, right? This is a concept paper of the 1st Earth Battalion. The track of time comes hurtling up out of the past, from somewhere billions of years ago back in history. It flicks by us as we stand here now in the present, and then thrust on for billions of years out ahead of us, out into the future, bound from someplace called infinity. Two things we know about time. Its march is inexorable, and it always gives rise to change. Change then is like time, inexorable, inevitable, and pervasive. And so powerful and complex a thing that in just 5 billion years, change has produced from inorganic matter and countless millions of experiments, complex living things like social insects and humankind. Any concept of change is the concept of time. Thus, any concept of change must involve past, present, and future. So he's kind of taking it in this linear fashion when we know that change is more circular and more of an infinite concept. So there is no past, present, and future. It all coagulates together as one. But this is an Army manual. Remember that. Task force that's Delta's effort has a concept of change, needs the track of time, the lessons of history, the realities of the present, and the dreams and visions of the future. It's still really dope. The 1st Battalion is a place to dream, a place to think the unthinkable. It's the prime place to put our thoughts of the future, just as we must maintain our perspective of the past and contact with the complexities of the present. It's an Earth Battalion because of what we know about a shrinking world and about interdependencies among men, nations, and natural resources. Interdependencies which every day are becoming more evident to us all. A battalion because our study effort is directed to our Army. And the battalion is an entity which all of us soldiers from top to bottom can comprehend. This is an Army manual, first and foremost. So, forward, making this planet whole requires the ethical use of force. But even subcultures of force must evolve into a master culture. The Army is no exception. Soldiers can be the principal moral ethical base on which things political can harmonize in the name of the earth. So I like that in the fact that they're saying that they have to change the dynamics of the culture of force. But this is still coming from a privileged position. This is kind of like, what was it, France, that became a communal communist place for a few weeks or months, and then it got conquered by a more dominant force. So this conception of the Army was beautiful, and it was great that it was someone had the audacity and someone had the gall to come up with this. But could it really be a basis for the entire army? There would have to be some really powerful weapons behind it, just based on how the rest of the world functions. Demanding the movement of consciousness of the whole world is intense, and I wonder if it can be done. And it can be done, but done in pieces and piecemeal and over time with many different factors and strings at play, changing and pulling on the different aspects of this machoistic, dominant, violent culture that we have across the world. Not just the Western world, but the world in general. So Earthkind has grown from pack to village, and then from village to tribe, and then from tribe to territory, and from territory to nation. It's time to go from nation to planet. The 1st Earth Battalion hereby declares its primary allegiance to the planet. Interesting that they got away with this, saying, I declare my allegiance to planet Earth, not necessarily to the United States military. So they were really forward thinking. You know, they transcended, or they were trying to, or attempted to transcend the limitations of identity, cultural identity, national identity, patriotic identity. They were trying to identify with the whole, which is a consciousness that we need nowadays. It is definitely a consciousness that we need nowadays. So the warrior monk, this is what he was trying to transform people into. Chinese monks were often attacked by robbers. They developed a new fighting system based on using the force of the attacker against him. Likewise, the soldiers of the 1st Earth will learn martial arts with the same ethical basis. No Earth soldier shall be denied the kingdom of heaven because they are used as an instrument of indiscriminate war. The conscious will be developed together with the ability to neutralize the opponent. So conscious and force mixed together to neutralize and bring peace to the situation. The Earth Battalion is and is becoming. So it's a potential oriented, not mission oriented. So any definition of what it is or does tends to limit what it can become. At the moment, it is a spirit among other things. By 1990, it may be a pilot community of warrior monks who completely recycle all resources, live amidst new nuclear reactors, and wait deployment to tension spots. He's talking about a military commune. That's what he's describing. He's describing a military, an army, a U.S. government-funded army military commune full of soldiers that have the ethical and moral fortitude to go into war with the understanding that the goal is to use the least amount of violence. So, and then in this page, he's basically talking about, at that time, 1979, the resources are there for them to develop this community, to develop this military technology, this militaristic way of life, because at this time and at this day and age, all of these different programs are out. If he thought it was possible then, it is definitely possible now, because the dynamics are the aspects of yogic culture, which is what he's talking about, Eastern yogic culture, let's be real, have really permeated the dominant Western culture of today. So structure without status. Everyone in the 1st Earth is equally important in the eyes of the organization and will be provided for accordingly. Status is achieved by the skill with which you do your chosen task. It is not important that you move up in the organization, only that your skill level moves up. Leaders will be those whose skill is group interworking and spiritual development. It sounds kind of like Obati Shaka's African Mother Principle Male-Female Equality, where he says all just males and females will be equally empowered to govern society. And just is defined as those males and females that have gone through the rites of passage and initiation programs developed and maintained in that culture and society to maintain that culture and society, to develop and maintain that culture and society. That's kind of what it sounds like to me. So uniforms without uniformity. Always allowing for diversity, we can share the ways that humans are all wonderfully unique. The uniform must serve the soldiers, given tasks, but must equally serve to share the most precious gift we each have to share, our personality. Common banners will serve to share the corporate Earth Battalion personality. I want you to keep in mind that this is the Army. Okay? Always keep that in mind. This is the Army. Synergy is possible when every soldier brings their individual best to the group task. It is multiplied in strength again if that soldier truly loves the other members of that unit. Then we shall have the maximum combat powers available. Things like Fuller's tense gravity illustrate how the maximum in individual tension can be held delicately in check by group unity, thereby generating the maximum potential energy. The vector equilibrium, the visible structure plus love, is the invisible bond. Wow. That's really nice. Omnidirectional thought. The first Earth is not mission-oriented. It is potential-oriented. That means we shall continue to look everywhere to find non-destructive methods of control. Nonetheless, they were still looking to control cats. J.F.C. Fuller, the father of mechanized warfare, was an omnidirectional thinker and a member of the world of the occult. So I got to do some research on this cat, J.C. Fuller. But he said, be a guerrilla guru. Have the occult, New Age, the traditional Eastern philosophy, and space-age technology, and understanding of all of that as you move through life. Super sex. Jobs in the first Earth are based on capability. Sex, age, color, or religious preference are not consideration. Culture has, however, programmed men and women so that they feel pressure to relate to each other sexually. The sexual protocol can be overcome by a series of extended exercises requiring the absolute interdependence of all participants until a level of trust is developed that supersedes and rises above any kind of sexual relationship. Fortunately, love is still the byproduct. So this was supposedly a progressive picture back in the day. You see a sister with a fro, analyzing a screen, doing some calculations, and this is supposed to be a European with the First Earth Battalion. They're both part of the First Earth, analyzing the situation, or analyzing the information that she's discussing. Missions. The president needs a wider range of options to respond to the 1980s. Force as a concept has lost much of its legitimacy. The time has come to take the lead in solving the problems of tomorrow. And this is kind of an outline of what he has. The First Earth Battalion has the force of heart, the force of will, force of arms, the force of spirit. It is the star of sensing, design, signals, support, and people. Natural disaster rescue group, eco disaster rescue group, human disaster rescue group, space pioneers, urban pioneers, eco pioneers. This was to describe the First Earth Battalion. Reasons to be. Soldiers are in the business of life and death. As a leader during war, I must know that if my soldiers are to die, it's for the right reasons. When at peace, they deserve nothing less than a chance at personal evolution. Soldiers can be a real part of the evolution of this earth. Anything less is just something less. The martial arts, one learns a number of possible counter moves against different types of possible enemies. These practice battles are done over and over until they become instinct. Likewise, in the Earth Battalion, all plausible engagements are war gained until each soldier has the routine code. In this way, the battalion can operate in the absence of commands from its leaders who may be out of touch because of the new realities of modern warfare. People, all warrior monks, but an interdependence of new age skills as well. So they have martial arts, they're nutritionists, they're meditation leaders, they're flexigraphers, they're cinematographers. Old tapes, that was what they had back then. They're holographers, they're spirit wizards, they're physicists, conservationists, engine tracker, builder, general systems theorists, futurists, laser. It's just on and on. It's really nice. Battle tuning. So before the battle or when you get up, rise up, do the yogic cack stretch, primal scream and leap, eat a Belgian waffle, ginseng tab regulator, speed and morning thunder tea, karate kate, primal frequency lights, that's that meditation, paced primal rock in our ears, that's meditation, inspirant sounds for them advance. Wow. What? Or maybe that's something else. I don't know. Tools. Just like many systems, when a nation or government becomes old, it's so full of its ideas, it has no room for new ones. Well, there are new age ideas with great power for the first body who decides to systematically use them. The Earth Battalion will hear them all. Divining tools, dried miniature munchie packs, night vision foodstuffs. Interesting. The American Indian revealed himself as an individual by his distinctive ornamentation. His shield, in some cases, was more complete as a representation of his skills and predispositions than the modern soldier's personal file. Earth Battalion soldiers will be encouraged to represent themselves well in their dress and wear a 12-pointed star with each axis clipped to reveal a dimension on a standard personality inventory test. So, this is what their conception of fit to fight. Exercise, nutrition, and positivity. All of those together combine to make the perfect soldier. They all are interlapping with each other. And this is what the perfect soldier needs. He needs to be fit, he needs to eat correctly, and he needs to be really positive in order to go inside and change the situation. The delivery of fires. Precision delivery is a function of clear and calm calculations. The battalion tactical operations centers will employ every new age centering tool to ensure our fire coordinators do their job of neutralization surgically. So their whole thing was neutralize the situation. Neutralize, neutralize, neutralize. Not engage, not fight, but neutralize. So this was their conception of how to understand the situation. This was like ancient GPS technology. This is their conception of how to draw out the map back in the day. Interesting. So in the movie, The Men Who Stare at Goats, they called themselves the Jedi. Here they're called the samurai. The actual people were called samurais. And samurai stood for S, seek your own personal path to God. Actively improve your physical condition. M, master mental self-control for combat. U, understand others. R, reinforce team interdependence. A, actively serve people and the planet. And I, indulge in happiness and humor. Be happy. So this is interesting right here. What this is describing is they say like there is a war or battle about to go on, right? They are to parachute into the middle of the battle, I guess by the hundreds, and stand in peace. And that this thing right here is supposed to be a satellite, which is beaming the action to the planet. And their conception is that they will appeal to the moral consciousness of the leaders of the two opposing armies. The heart, the mind, the soul is in the right place, but the understanding of war is wrong. This was the same conception Martin Luther King Jr. had and Gandhi had as well. And a lot of these cats would have died. We see how man responds when people try to, in the beginning, when people are meeting violence with nonviolence. Those who practice nonviolence are eradicated. It's still a great conception. Just not war practical. Spiritual tools. The universe yields wonderful energies for those who rise above physical mechanics. The Earth Battalion will practice non-denominational techniques for spiritual bonding. It is our right, and it shall make us stronger. The conscious corpse. When our Earth Battalion people become families, and we hope they will then leave the attack battalions and go to the nuclear release sites of each nation with the nuclear strike capability. In this way, they will be a clear and present reminder of what exists at the other end of a button. Wow. Mother Earth, my life support system as a soldier. So this is their prayer. Mother Earth, my life support system. As a soldier, I must drink your blue water, live inside your red clay, and eat your green skin. I pray my boots will always kiss your face, and my footsteps match your heartbeat. Carry my body through space and time. You are my connection to the universe, and all that comes after. I am yours, and you are mine. I salute you. This is called the Warrior's Net. The primary function of the First Earth is to communicate ideas. Set up a network of information within your army and friends and in the army. Soon, continental coordinators will emerge, and then we will consider communications, media, and other communications other than the mail and telephone. Let this battalion grow wherever there is interest. Human dimensions, technology, and study areas. Physical preparation for combat. Mongolian massage. Sensory alertness during combat. Energy awareness technology based on Aikido. Weapons effectiveness during combat. Hypnotherapy. Combat first aid, shiatsu, hand-to-hand combat. Understanding bodily weak points can either can either heal a friendly or hurt an enemy. Tai Chi Chuan by a master. Movement to contact. I mean, look at this. This is training effectiveness, diet, eating medical profession, moving to health foods over soldiers can eat junk foods. Organizational structures, teams, values, urban pioneers, counter hostage force, disaster rescue, eco pioneers, animal rescue. It's just amazing. It's very interesting. But I would expect no less from people that access the spirit in order to psychotronics. Now this has current ramifications. The conscious application of assonant and dissonant sound to achieve a physical response. Ergo, all vehicles will use loudspeakers in the attack and play and rock. In the attack and play acid rock out of the sink. Meanwhile, inside the APCs is rhythmic, positive, pulsing, organizing music. Sonic frequencies bombard the enemy, bringing their intelligence down. They know that certain frequencies bring your intelligence down and certain frequencies bring your intelligence up. That I'll discuss later. Spiritual zeal. Just check it out. I'm not going to read this for you. I'm going to leave it up here for a minute, allow you to kind of go over it. But this is amazing, interesting stuff, especially when we get to some of the other documents. Because remember, I want you to understand the primary focus of this program was remote viewing. They put themselves in a trance-like state in order to see something else that is going on in the planet. And that's the end. So I hope you enjoyed this quick and brief understanding and presentation of Project Stargate, which was run by the US government from 1972 to 1995. Peace.